Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm doing a review on these original old school Everlast Bronx, New York boxing gloves. So check it out. Hey, what's up guys? Carlo here, and today I have a special video review for you guys. I have a brand new pair of 8-ounce lace-up Everlast boxing gloves from the late 90s, possibly early 2000s era. Now I lucked out and I was actually able to purchase these on eBay through a person that is a boxing connoisseur, or should I say a boxing collector. I do go on eBay every now and then to see if I can find any hard to find rare items, and I lucked out this time. So when I saw these for sale, I knew I had to get them, and I pulled the trigger and picked these up. If you're wondering what these cost originally, I'm not too sure. I can't remember. These are probably over 20 years old, but if I were to guess, these were probably like $150 gloves at the time. You know, obviously 2022 compared to 2022 years ago, there's going to be inflation. Prices are much different than they are back then, but I'd probably say they're like $150 gloves. Now what makes these somewhat of a holy grail is that these gloves are, one, discontinued and very hard to find, yet alone to be found in brand new condition like these are in. And the other thing is that when these gloves were made, Everlast was owned by a different company before. So the Everlast that we know today, that it makes all the gear like the MX line, the power locks, the entry-level stuff that you see at the sporting goods store, is not the same Everlast that made these gloves, and even the gloves before these. So I wanted to share them with you. I have not used them. I was kind of at a point where I was undecided. You know, I was kind of conflicted. Do I want to use these gloves for a couple of rounds, put them bag work and hit the mitts with them? And then I said, you know what, this is to me a very historic glove, and I don't want to put any wear and tear on these gloves, and just save these as a keepsake. And the other reason I wouldn't want to use them is, even if I did use them and told you guys how these perform, it's not like you guys can go out there and readily purchase them. So it kind of defeats the purpose of you guys telling you the performance when you yourselves can't really buy them unless you went on eBay and just kind of lucked out and found a pair that were in good usable condition. So before I go any further, I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a history on Everlast. It also came with this original plastic wrapping, which is really cool as well. And if they do look familiar to you guys, these were actually worn by Hilary Swank when she was doing pad work with Clint Eastwood in the movie $1 Million Baby, which I believe came out in 2004 or 2003. So that kind of gives you a reference when it comes to timeline with this particular pair of Everlast gloves. So we'll go back to these gloves here in a second. But before I do, just to show you guys the history on Everlast. So Everlast was first founded by Jacob Gollum back in 1910. So hence why a lot of the old school glove models that Everlast comes out with now are called the 1910 models, because that's when Everlast was originally was founded. And you can actually see right here also, it says Everlast established 1910. So that's where the 1910 comes from. And if Jacob Gollum sounds familiar, it's his grandson, John Gollum, who's still alive today, that makes John Gollum boxing gloves, the glove doctor as well. He still makes the gloves, I believe, in Pennsylvania, if I'm not mistaken. And he's pretty much the lineage of the Gollum family. He's the original Everlast that makes the gloves here in the United States. So Everlast really picked up steam after Jacob Gollum opened it around 1917, excuse me, is when they asked Jack Dempsey if they needed equipment. So they actually started making equipment for Jack Dempsey. So we're going all the way back. They sponsor Roberto Duran, Joe Frazier, Marvin Hagler, Larry Holmes, Sugar Ray Leonard, and Muhammad Ali. So you can obviously see there's a huge influence in the boxing history. Jacob Gollum died in 1950, and then he was succeeded by his son Daniel, who's the father of John, I believe. And then Ben Nadorf purchased 50% of Everlast in 1958, so way before any of us were probably born, and became sole owner in 1995. In 2000, the company was acquired by George Horowitz's Active Apparel Group. So, you know, basically, Ben Nadorf had the company for about 5 years. I'm thinking maybe these gloves were manufactured under the Nadorf Everlast era. Maybe I'm wrong, or it could have been the George Horowitz active apparel group era, which manufactured men's and women's sportswear under Everlast. And then in 2007 is when Sports Direct acquired Everlast worldwide. So the Everlast that we know today is owned by Sports Direct ever since 2007. So all the stuff that you see Neverlast and all the, you know, the gear that you consider the really cheap junky garbage that you see at like the sporting goods store, that's from the current era with Sports Direct. So that kind of gives you a little bit of a history, a lesson in myself on Everlast. It essentially went through three different ownerships, from Jacob Gollan to Ben Nadorf, and then basically to George Horowitz, actually 4 technically, and then Sports Direct. So that's it. And I believe, again, these were manufactured before the current Everlast took over. So anyhow, I haven't used these gloves yet, just to show you guys. They do have some markings. Obviously, they've survived over 2 decades. The previous owner that I bought them from actually kept them, and I believe he's the original owner and purchaser, and kept them on display at his gym. So hopefully I can continue that tradition and just keep these and pass them down. But you can see these gloves are full genuine leather construction. I love the leather feel on here. I'm not sure if these are made here in the United States. The original owner alluded that they were and indicated they were made in Brooklyn, New York, but I've also heard that these may have been made overseas. There's no actual tag in here, and to be quite honest, it's going to be kind of impossible to find out if these were made here or overseas. I've been told that the ones made in the States actually came with a leather attached thumb, where the ones imported were made with this nylon attached thumb. Again, the accuracy of that, I'm not too sure, but it is what it is. So you can see the leather on here has that kind of old school Mexican leather look and feel, very supple and soft. You have the older Everlast logo on the back of the glove with the rectangle box. The foam padding on here, I can't tell if there's horsehair in here. There might be, but this is definitely a glove that's more on the puncher's side, maybe a little bit of protection. I definitely compare this glove in terms of feel and just how the knuckle feels to like a Grant glove, a Grant Pro Fight glove, if that makes sense. Coming down to the back of the wrist, it does have this silky Everlast patch. It does say established 1910 boxing equipment, 8 ounces, Bronx, New York. And one great thing about this glove is I put them on the scale just to weigh them in, and they both came in almost exactly at 8 ounces, so the weight is definitely on point. It does say 1008. I'm not sure if that's a serial number for this particular glove. And you also have the grip bar that's really nice and large and pretty firm. No ventilated holes. I don't think these are the original laces. They're way too white. I mean, if they are, then man, they took really good care of the laces, because for something that's like 20 years old, I would expect, even if the gloves weren't used, that the laces would kind of like yellow out just from like oxidation and being exposed to the elements, but who knows. The laces look great. Anyhow, you do have this black piping on the palm side, and the liner is really beautiful silky liner on the inside. And quite honestly, it's kind of sad. I mean, I wish that Everlast made gloves exactly like this till today. You know, the closest thing to this glove, it would be probably the MX glove, and to me this is still a better glove than their current MX line of gloves. So, you know, it's great to have these gloves, but it's a little sad in a way that Everlast doesn't make this glove, or at least make the gloves like how they used to. Now, putting your hand in here, the first thing you'll notice is they're extremely comfortable. You know, you can open and close your hands with zero effort. I mean, they're just super broken in and soft. And you can see, I mean, again, I can just open and close my hand. The thumb is perfect. The positioning is great. One thing you'll notice is the inside leather, you can actually feel, has kind of a smooth texture grain to it. And the back of the thumb has this kind of this thick piece of foam on the back of the thumb as well. You can feel the stitching at the very end of the thumb a little bit, but it's not uncomfortable. And when I make a fist, it doesn't pull down on the tip of the thumb. So I feel like the length of it, it feels perfect. I don't feel like I have any discomfort with the thumb, and the positioning is perfect. The grip bar is in a perfect spot as well, and the finger compartment is nice and deep. And again, this kind of just shows you that even though, you know, it's been 22 plus or minus years, you know, gloves back then are just as comfortable as some of the gloves today. And that's saying a lot, because you know, over the years, there has been some improvements in terms of anatomy when it comes to having anatomical gloves that fit the hands better and feel more comfortable. But I would definitely put these up there with a lot of the gloves that you see today. I mean, they kind of remind me of these old school gloves that are being remade, like the Donardos and some of the Everlast gloves, and just some of these old school style gloves that they're trying to kind of throw back and make today. And these definitely are right up there in terms of quality and comfort still. You know, finger compartment feels really good as well. There's no bunching up of material. You can definitely feel a little bit of the seam where this meets right here with the flat leather meets the finger compartment, but it's not uncomfortable at all. And I mean, overall the quality on these are very nice. I would say that the stitching in certain areas, it's a little crooked, like when it comes down here towards that black piping. But other than that, the stitching is nice and symmetrical. The leather is cut nicely. You have a little bit of fraying of threads right there. And I can't be too critical because again, you know, for as long as he's been alive, I'm not sure what these gloves have been through other than being stored nicely, because if they weren't, they'd be in much worse shape. But overall, I mean, I think they look amazing. They feel amazing. You can see that has that old school Everlast look. And I don't know about you guys, but I love the way these look overall. I think they just look great. They have more of a compact feel. And I feel like there's some brands that actually copied this design and kind of carried it over to what they do now, and just kind of put fancy colors on it and make them look fantastic and all that, and then they charge a lot of money for them. But overall, man, I'm extremely pleased with this purchase. I'm going to add these to my collection. These are gloves I'm going to hang on to. I'm not going to use, even though I'm very tempted to hit the mitts with these, to be honest with you. I was tempted to hit the bag with these earlier, but I just can't put myself to do it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. You know, these are gloves that are a part of our history in terms of boxing in general and boxing equipment. Hopefully in the future, Everlast can do like a throwback version of these. That would be amazing if they can come out with these exact gloves and just with maybe even better quality leather, but the same exact comfort, feel, softness, and throw back them and release them in other colorways so that the new generation of boxers and enthusiasts can enjoy these and make them how they used to. So if you guys have any questions or comments, make sure you guys leave them down below in the comments box. I'll put the link in the description box on all the information you can find on Everlast, and even maybe where these gloves have a little bit of history on. And I'll see you guys later. Take care.